There's something else which is called umniya. And this is what's blameworthy in Islam. And umniya is a hope. What the difference between raja and umniya is that raja, always the sabab is taken. In other words, the means to obtain the thing that you're doing is taken. Whereas with an umniya, it's bila sabab. The means is not taken. So for instance, if you want to get healthy. So what you do is you start watching your diet, you start exercising, that's called the raja. Huwa yarju sahha. But somebody who, he says, I really want to get healthy. He doesn't change that. As he's eating his, all his junk food and watching television or something like that, and he said, I really want to get healthy. And he's doing nothing to change his state. That's called umniya. And that's what Allah says the Jews and the Christians have about akhirah. They have amani. They're not doing anything to get the akhirah. Right? They're corrupting in the earth. They're not, and that's why the Muslims, they have to watch out because, like my friend Abdul Hakim Murad told this story about the Pakistani man who was walked by these three racists in London, and one of them said, "I'm moving to Wales because there's only 1%, 3% Muslims there," and the other one said, "No, I'm going to Scotland because they only have 2%," and the third one said, I'm going to Ireland because they only have 1%. And this Muslim said, why don't you go to hell? They don't have any Muslims there. And so, what Abdul Hakim said about that, Sidi Abdul Hakim, Hafidhullah, what he said about that was that the assumption, of course, is that Muslims don't go to hell. Unfortunately, there's going to be a big shock on the Yawm al-Qiyamah, right? Because if you have amani, and all you have for your Islam is that the shahadatain, right? They call the shahadatain. Shahadat al-widada or shahadat al-wafat. Your testimony when you were born that you were a Muslim, they wrote it on your birth certificate, and when you died, right? They wrote it on your death certificate. If that's all you have, and I was in Santa Clara, Parif was with me once. These people came and their grandfather had died and they came to the masjid to bury him. None of them were practicing Muslims. And their grandfather wasn't a practicing Muslim, but he died. And they realized, hey, we're Muslims, and how do we bury our grandfather? Well, let's take him to the mosque. And so they brought him there and we washed the body and did these things. But it's very sad that that's the extent of people's experience of Islam when they get married and when they die. Right? They have to have the imam to marry them, or they have to have somebody who knows how to wash the body and pray over them. So that's umniya. So raja, hoping for Allah, is when you're doing those things that you need to do in order to be pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the other thing that the ulama say is that you should have khawf should be overriding until when you get to your deathbed. At that point, you should forget all about fear and just have absolute hope in Allah. You should have no fear on your deathbed. You should be completely immersed in a sense of Allah's rahmah and that He will forgive me and He will accept me, and have a good opinion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.